Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, you can hear me here. All right. It's 10 o'clock. So shall we begin with our moment of silence? Thank you. First thing on the agenda is introduction of new residents. We have some today. Bill and Zora Jenkins, I see, kind of in the middle. Can you stand up and wave? Long-term Lexington people, come to join us here. Okay, next would ordinarily be the update from Adam, but he and Felicia are at a Leading Age Virginia meeting in Charlottesville today, so he sends his regrets. And that means we'll move right on to Sarah.
Good morning. All right, I wasn't expecting to start today, but here we are. Thank you all for expressing your gratitude on the board out in the library. That will be disappearing for Christmas, but we've loved reading everything everyone's writing, and you still have a chance. It'll be up till Thanksgiving. So if you want to add to that, you can. Also, a new donation box has appeared. That donation is called Keep the Cheer Here. So it's a Rockbridge area organization collecting unwrapped new toys. If you have any questions about what to bring, sports balls, games, any age. A little bit about marketing so far. We had our open house for the fall. We had 21 attendees, 6 not on the waiting list, and 1 couple has joined. Thank you to everyone who helped us out with that. I'm going to turn it over to Chris and Kevin for some statistics.
Good morning. Good morning. Since our last meeting, Kevin and I have had 13 tours, tryouts, and meetings with people from Philadelphia, New York City, Houston, Texas, Anderson, Indiana, Valrico, Florida, and 3 from Lexington, 1 from Buena Vista, or Buena Vista if you're not a local, 1 from Stanton, or Staunton, and 1 each from Midlothian, Abington, and Rural Retreat, Virginia. So this has resulted in 5 new waitlist members, 4 of them couples and 1 a single, from Houston, Texas, Midlothian, Virginia, Stanton, Virginia, and 2 from Lexington, which brings us year to date to 47 new waitlist members in 2025, which is impressive. The waitlist is now up to 240 couples and singles, and 77 of them are on the ready list. Right, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. Okay. I was told to grab the mic. Okay, we are currently at 98% occupied and 99% reserved for occupancy. Recently reserved independent living homes include apartment 102 for an internal move, apartment 316 by a waitlist couple from Pennsylvania who are currently moving through our approval process, and apartment 116 by a local waitlist couple who are also currently moving through our approval process. More about them later. And we are actively making calls on 1 Sycamore Lane cottage and hope to have it reserved by the end of this month for a late winter move-in. Last thing I have is on November 5th, Kendall was represented at a Confident Caregivers Conference at Blue Ridge Community College in Weir's Cave. Thank you. And Sharon White and I were the representatives of Kendall in attendance there. This is a conference put on by the Valley Program for Aging Services and was sponsored by 17 different agencies, businesses, and nonprofits, including Kendall at Lexington. That's all for marketing.
Good morning. All right, so just a couple updates from dining. So there was still a little bit of room at the 11:30 seating for Thanksgiving. So if you haven't reserved and want to join us earlier, there's not massive amounts, but some room still. For the restaurant, we had some changes in reservations, shifting of days. So there is space tomorrow night. If anyone would like to join us in the restaurant, can reserve online or just let me know and we'll get you added. There is a kitchen tour today. These have been really fun. So if you've been on one, I hope you've had as much fun as we have. And we are booked out through January. So our tour today, our December one, our January in full. So our next one, and I'll get a sign up sheet out there down today, will be Wednesday, February 18th at 2 o'clock. They seem to fill up really quickly, but I just don't have the heart to put more than 3 months at a time because, you know, we don't remember that much. So 3 months is enough. So, but that will go out today. So if you have not done a kitchen tour and would like to, February 18th will be the next available. And now here's my plea. I have a plea for dishes, please. So just in the last 6 months, let me tell you what we've purchased to restock what we have to make sure we can serve. So 120 soup cups, 108 dessert plates, and that's after we switched to actual dessert plates from the foam plasticky things we were using. We bought 108 of them to start, and we've bought 108 to replenish. 72 salad plates, and this is the one that I really floors me. 70 dozen pieces of cutlery. I don't know, it's like vanishing or something. So here's my plea. Check your spaces. If you have anything, drop it off. I'd love to not buy more dishes for our holiday meals. We will if we need to, but you know, I don't like to spend your money more than once on the same thing. We will, because we want to have dishes, but so check your spaces, remind people if you've got anything, bring it on down. We won't hold it against you. We're happy for you to take a salad plate, a dessert plate, whatever you need when you're taking stuff back. So you have a snack for later, not a problem at all. I just know that if it's not right in front of me, I'm not going to remember. So take a peek around, see if it's there and bring it on down. We'd appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions for me? All righty. I don't know who's next. Todd.
All right,
All right, good morning. I hope y'all can understand me okay. I was out half day yesterday with a head cold, so hopefully I'm not too bad and you're not smelling the cough drop too much back there. First thing I want to cover is I sent out an email earlier today letting everybody know Dave Hoke has left employment with Kendall effective Monday. Kenny is the interim maintenance manager filling in the short term. And Adam approved us advertising that as an internal only advertisement. So that should be filled promptly without a lot of delay or problems there. All right, let me go down my list of updates. The VRF HVAC system for the north and south building, that project continues. The engineers from Pennsylvania will be here December 9th and 10th for their next round of evaluation and workup on that. So that project's moving. Very, very slow for a big project though. We had a significant number of sprinkler and fire system compressor repairs recently, 600 Hall of Borden. And then the north building as well has some sprinkler line repairs moving. So you'll see a bunch of other folks that we usually don't see, primarily Magic City Sprinkler, climbing around in our attics and things like that, working on those systems. Our boiler inspections that we have to do with the state are actually today, scheduled for today sometime. I don't anticipate any issues coming out of that. We have replaced 2 of the boilers since the last time they were here for inspections. So the ones that we knew were, needed major work, they've got nice new shiny ones to look at when they do our inspections today in our various mechanical rooms. We're starting our leaf pickup rotation. It was very windy a couple weeks ago when a lot came down and they all blew to somebody else's yard, so we didn't do a lot. But they're starting, I believe, this afternoon. Actually, they'll be starting, and the first round is actually out in the courtyard where the wind has made some piles of things in there. So you'll be seeing the guys with the big trucks and everything out there shortly. Had some traffic, some communications from some residents concerned about pet reception on various spots of the property. Saying that, you know, out on the trails and things and edges of the property, they do not they do not get received by the receivers in here. That is, I don't believe that is accurate. 2 years ago, I did a spot check and we walked around everywhere and we tested the pets everywhere on Kendall property. Your pet will be received by the receivers. Now we've changed the software monitoring system. I can't imagine that has an impact to that. But probably tomorrow, 2 of us are going to get on one of the buggies and our leather personnel carriers and walk around with the our pets and run some tests with Kathy just to make sure that nothing has changed on that. So we'll follow up on our results when I let you know when I get those. The State Corporation Commission and Columbia Gas pipeline turnover project continues to move, albeit very slowly. Columbia Gas did another site visit and then sent back another round of requests for information. Kenny got them all the details they needed, I believe, about a week and a half ago. I just sent our last update to the SCC on Monday. Columbia Gas is confident they'll be able to execute that project for us. It's just going to be a big project that takes a good bit of time. So they won't, I don't have a price yet. I don't have a timetable yet, but they're confident it can be a valid 2026 project. And I hope the SCC is happy with that as we continue to move forward with that. The 3rd floor north exhaust system repairs are still pending, waiting on the final schedule from the train techs to install that. But that project is worked up, funded and approved. It just hasn't gotten executed yet. The Kendall Hall HVAC replacement, the unit just arrived. Now we're reaching out to the train technicians to say, okay, it's here. Bring your other parts. When is that going to be installed? With the moderate weather the last few days, hasn't been too bad in here, and appreciate you all keeping the doors open throughout the day. I think it's coasted. Kenny and the guys went into the attic and blew in a bunch of extra insulation. As long as we're not having 20-degree days out, I think it's actually worked okay in here. But we will have the whole new HVAC system, I think, within a week. That was on the original timeline. I think they're on track to still meet that now that the parts are here. Our PM Tech, Anthony, that work continues. We're actually looking at changing that a little bit from our first, well, I think we're actually on our 3rd version of how we're doing it. Because what we found is we have some inefficiencies in the tools and the equipment and the tasks we're asking him to do. Originally, the concept was go to a residence, here's the checklist, do all that work. But some of the work needs special parts or a pile of filters or a certain piece of tool or equipment. And what we're actually looking at now, and it's not decided yet, but we may say, okay, you know what? Let's flush all the water heaters in one round. You'll go water heater to water heater to water heater. That way you have all the same equipment, all the same chemicals, all the same everything, rather than, okay, water heater and everything else in one apartment, because it's just not, we don't think it's as efficient. This will need a couple more visits to most folks' garages, but I think it will actually get us through with the right, equipment and time efficiency as we move forward on that. So that program is morphing a little bit as we learn a few lessons learned as we move forward on that. The ATC fire system changeover continues. They're here. They're working on our last round over by Borden for that. We're on track to have that wrapped up by the end of the year. Our deer calling program continues. I think the count is up to 16 right now. So that has continued, and hopefully your gardens are breathing a sigh of relief as those things move on. And the last thing on my list is the Trex bench project continues. There is a backlog and it moves slowly as we generate a lot of this stuff, but there's time limits on how often you can get a bench. And I was asked to just make sure we recognize that some folks anonymously purchased and donated some other benches to help us get speedy placements throughout the process. So thank you for that support. That is my list. Any questions or anything for me? Yes, ma'am. Yes, the question was about the VRF system that I mentioned, the south building. The south building also has the same VRF system that we're having trouble with in the north system. We have not, knock on wood, had the problems down there yet that we're having in the north, but it is the same technology and the same equipment. So that is likely planned to be a second phase when we replace that equipment before we start having problems with it. The north building is where it has a higher load, higher elevation changes and things like that. The equipment has just got a few problems that we identified with. When we do that as phase one, I'm actually going to steal the compressors and control boards out of that equipment. So I have a box of spares if the south building starts having a lot of the same problems as well. But it is actually the same install and the same equipment. I think we will down the road. I think we have more time though, just because it's a gentler, less demanding application. Did that answer your question?
So nothing to be done now?
I haven't seen the final budget of the phasing. I think it's going to be phased first for north and then for the south. That's correct. I'm going to phase it however I get the budget and I'm told to phase it. I will be doing south, but it is second. It will be after the north building. The HVAC and equipment, the HVAC in the south building is currently working largely. It is not working in the north. So I will replace what I'm worried about in the future as a second phase. In the back, yes, ma'am.
So you see the installing pool cords in the bathrooms in this building and Sunnyside?
The question was about pool cords in the bathrooms here and at Sunnyside. It's not necessarily ATC, but yes, the new wireless pool cords will go in. We got a report through the facilities monitoring subcommittee that some of the bathrooms, the old style pool cords had been removed, but not all the new wireless went in. We went around and surveyed again, and yes, we found some that were missed. New wireless pool cords will be going into the public bathrooms and the public bathrooms over at Sunnyside as well. I don't know a timeline. Wayne's giving me a thumbs up, so I did not lie to you, so that's good.
Over Sunnyside is the other side, and then over here behind the mailboxes, those are now installed as well. There's others that we missed. Please let us know. But I think those were the only four that were identified.
Okay, any other? Yes, up front.
We received an email several months ago that on Fridays we could put out garden clippings to be picked up. Those are not being picked up on Friday, at least up on the ridge. And so is that continuing or is it just catch as catch can?
The question was about garden debris, clippings and things like that that are out on Fridays. Yes, that is the correct time. Yes, the guys are tasked, the grounds guys are tasked to do that on Fridays. What we have struggled with is the last several Fridays, they've also been tasked to, hey, this furniture has to be moved for this event and stuff like that. So they've done the pickups, but they've not gotten them all. They have skipped sections and leapfrogged and things like that. I actually met with Kenny this morning about that. So if folks are hauling out all this debris on a Friday, it has to go away. And if the guys are pulled off on a Friday to do an emergency or some other setup or something that overrides that, then our maintenance person who works on a Saturday needs to know the zones that got skipped and can pick it up Saturday morning. So yes, do continue to put it out on Friday, and I'll yell at Kenny if it doesn't get picked up. Yes, ma'am, in the back.
Here, I don't know whether to tell you this, but anyway, the walkway down around going to the dog park, as I know you all, took care of part of it with the gravel and so forth. But the fabric, I've almost how much right now. The black fabric is all along there, it's coming up, and there is a purple spot for your foot to go under, so it needs to be addressed.
The question was about the walking path by the drainage pond on the way down to the dog park, trip hazards with the plastic. We went through and cut the plastic that was exposed and had come up some time ago and then regraded at the end. I recognize that's probably going to be an iterative project until I can do the 2026 full rebuild of that trail. In the meantime, Kenny, if you'll write it in your book to make a loop and cut up any of the more of the plastic or netting that's created a trip hazard. Similar to the pool cords in the bathrooms or trip hazards on the trail, that kind of stuff, please do let us know, because I'm not going to say we get in every square foot of everywhere. And if you see something, especially if we did it, we checked it off the list, and then 2 weeks later it's back or has worsened or spread, please do let us know so I can have the guys readdress that. Thank you. Anything else for me? All right, I'll stop breathing on the microphone and hand it to Adam.
Sorry. Okay, for the health services update for November, I want to start off by sharing Rebecca Smith has been promoted to the Webster Nurse Manager position. Rebecca has been a valued member of Kendall since 2023, brings 18 years of nursing experience, including time with UVA's pediatric practices and Lexington City Schools. We are pleased, we look forward to the leadership and consistency she brings to the new role. So if you don't mind giving her a warm welcome. Okay, and with this advancement, we are actively recruiting for a clinic nurse to ensure continuity of care and support. You all have received emails from Tracy or Carla just announcing specific hours and then the availability via call to make an appointment in the interim. So wanted to share the education and community partnerships that we've had recently and ongoing. Our partnerships continue to strengthen both resident experience and workforce development. So starting with Rockbridge Area High School CNA program, this semester we've had 18 students total, approximately 9 at a time. They've done weekly rotations and started in October and go through December. Mountain Gateway Community College CNA program has six students, which began November 11th and occurred twice per week for 3 weeks. And then Washington and Lee University Neuroscience Department had 12 students completing the Opening Minds Through Art program, OMA, commonly referred to as, which works with board and residents to support creativity, cognitive engagement, and intergenerational connection. There's actually an OMA art show and reception, which is December 6th. It is a Saturday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. in the Borden Sunroom. This will feature artwork created by residents participating in the OMA program. There will be an art auction and additional pieces may be sold with the permission of resident artists. You are all warmly invited to attend. Dementia Caregiver Support Group is this Friday, November 21st at 11 a.m. in the Staff Development Room. This month's session will include a Connections Plus led discussion on communication strategies for interacting with those living with dementia. This is a valuable resource for family caregivers and anyone interested in learning more. The Grief Support Group next Wednesday, so a week from today, November 26th at 3 p.m. in the Borden Conference Room. Connections Plus also hosts this month's Grief Support Group, offering support and guidance for residents, families, team members coping with loss. And finally, want to announce about quality and compliance. Earlier this month, we completed our FSA, Friends Service Alliance compliance audit with an outstanding score of 97%, reflecting continued improvement from the historical 94%. The auditor was highly complimentary of the team's systems, organization, and overall progress. Thank you for your continued support, and I'm happy to take any questions at this time. Thank you very much.
Hello, I want to start out first. There's been a lot of concern about Nancy Epley. I don't have all the facts, but the little that I do know is she did fall. She broke her hip. She's currently at Augusta Medical Center and she's supposed to undergo surgery today. She was supposed to have surgery yesterday, but they had an emergency. So she was put off until today. So that sounds to me like a good deal, that you aren't as bad as you might think. But, at 103 years old, anytime you break a bone in your body, that's serious information. Her daughter Anne from New York City is here up there at Augusta, and her son from Chicago. They're both there with her. So we just express our prayers that she gets to surgery today and that it'll be successful and hopefully she'll be back here with us. I know one of her caregivers that goes shopping for her, she was here this morning getting her hearing aids. So she must have left her hearing aids here when they took her to the hospital. So she wants her hearing aids so she can hear what's going on. So that tells me she's alert. I hope she's doing well. But that's all I know. So just keep her in your prayers for it. Now, a couple of people asked me about the Marlboro players. You know, they didn't show up. They were scheduled to show up last couple of weeks ago, and we're all here gathered for it. They didn't show up. What happened? And people have been asking me. Well, when Ann Belias was here for a concert with a saxophonist, Ann said, please put down schedule Monday or whatever date it was for the Marlboro players. So I took my pen and I wrote it in ink, Marlboro players, whatever day it was. She thought I put it in pencil, I think. It was only supposed to be temporary. They had two more guest performers from Southern Virginia University. They weren't able to get their schedules together, so they were not able to make the date that I thought was firm. I didn't communicate with them because I thought I had a firm date. They didn't communicate with me, thinking it was a temporary date. So anyway, that's why I didn't show up. I'm sure that won't happen again. I won't use a pen next time, but anyway, that's happened on the Marlboro Players. They're very sorry that there was this confusion. It was a lack of communication between them and me. Okay. Now we have sign-up sheets. We all know we have sign-up sheets for the buses whenever we have an tour outside. It's very important. We want people to sign up as soon as you know you want to go on the particular trip, whether it's VMI or going to Monticello, whatever. But please, if you decide you cannot make the trip, please come and erase your name. And many times we have people on the wait list, and if you don't erase your name off the sign-up sheet, we can't call the wait list people to come and show up on the bus. The worst situation is here where when the bus is ready to leave and a person doesn't show up and they find out, well, I decided I wasn't going to go. Well, that's not good for the rest of us here, because we need to know that you're not going to be you're going to drop out of the sign-up sheet. The other thing is the bus always leaves on time. We never wait for anybody. We never call at the last minute because, we're going to get this, I just got out of the shower. I'll be down in about 10. No, we don't do that. So if you're not here when the bus leaves, I'm sorry. We did leave somebody behind a week or so ago because they did not show up when the bus left. And the bus always leaves on time, unfortunately. Now we try to make sure on our way back that we don't leave anybody behind, which happened last month, I think. We try to correct that, so we count, and I usually count, and if we have a majority on, that's good enough, and we go. But we try not to leave anybody behind. But please, if you sign up, please sign up. But please take your name off the list if you decide not to go, even if it's the morning that we leave. Now, some of you may know that the Bistro on Main, a very popular restaurant in town, is closing on December 24th. That's their last day. The two owners are retiring. I think the owner of the building is raising the rent, which is always a problem. But anyway, they decided to retire. So the Bistro is closing on the 24th of December. So if that's one of your favorite restaurants, which it is mine, I've been going there for about 25 years. Make sure you go there between now and December 24th. So now in November here, we have a couple of items here where we still have a few more items. We've been very busy in November and December. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, Sue Paipo is going to talk about, she was in Peru at Machu Picchu. Many of us have been there. I haven't been there. I can't climb that high. But I understand she missed the bus going up to the top. And so she climbed the mountain and got up on top. So she's going to talk about that this afternoon. So please show up at 4 o'clock for her talk on Machu Picchu and beyond, whatever that means, beyond Lima, I suppose. Tomorrow we're going to Southern Virginia University for their Thanksgiving play. Anything that Southern Virginia puts on is excellent. They have an excellent musical theater department. And so I highly recommend attending any of their events they have. Unfortunately, we have a full bus. So sorry about that, unless somebody's going to cross their name off. However, there's one person who hasn't paid for their ticket. Shay purchased all the tickets in advance. And so one person still owes her money. So I hope that person, I won't identify that person, but you can go down there and you can see where that person hasn't paid. But so please, if that person's here in the audience, please make sure Shay gets her money and that brings us to the next day. On Friday, we're going to Clifton Forge to the Crystal Mark. It's a German Christmas market. Similar, I've been there before. They do an excellent presentation. They have a lot of German food. They have an Oompa band there, I think, and then they have a lot of craft events there as well. It's a huge event there in Clifton Forge. So we have a bus. We do have one opening. So if you still want to go down to Clifton Forge to the Christmas market there, please rush out of here and go fill that one open spot. Now, Ted Burrows wanted me to know that he also at Clifton Forge, at the Clifton Forge Arts and Crafts Center, they're having a photo exhibit. And he has 3 of his photographs on display at the Allegheny Arts and Crafts Center, which is about a couple of blocks over from the Allegheny Arts and Crafts, not the Arts and Crafts Center, the School of the Arts. So if you're interested, if you're tired of shopping, you spend all your money, if you want to go across the street and look at some beautiful photos of local people, to include Ted Burrows, and you can fill out a piece of paper and say, this is the best one I've seen. I think Ted gets a ribbon or something like that if he happens to be the best photo on display. But Ted asked me, is Ted here? He asked me to mention, he's not even here. So I don't know why I'm talking about him then. Anybody knows that? Anyway, that's on Friday. So that's always a neat event to go to. And then in December we have, everybody has all kinds of Christmas events from now into December. And, we try to pick the best ones, the ones that we know that our residents here be willing to go to. And the first time we're going to Wayne Theater in Waynesboro, Virginia. That's up a ways, north of Wayne, not too far. It's called The Christmas Carol, and it's a one-man show by Dickens' great-great-grandson. He flies over from England and puts on a one-man show. He plays all 20 parts of the Dickens Christmas Carol. And it's been highly recommended. And so we've signed up for that. This will be our first time at Wayne's Theater. They have obviously during the year, they have a full program of events. So if that turns out to be a good venue, then I think we'll start looking at events at the Wayne Theater as well. Now, we still have 3 openings. So there's still an opportunity to go up there. Now, the tickets are $51. Well, the guy flies over from England to put on a one-man show. You got to pay for his hotel, his food, whatever. So it is $51. But, $51, what's $51? Except I have bought all 15 tickets on my credit card. And I just got my credit card bill. And they want me to pay that $500. And everybody has not paid their $51. So I know it's a personal problem I have, but if you have not paid me, I would like you to write the check for $51 to me personally so I can pay my credit card bill. Anyway, that should be a pretty exciting event here at the Wayne Theater. And then we're going to Parkersburg, West Virginia. We did that a couple of years ago. Catherine Brown from that city, she has her family home. It's an old Victorian home on this street that has all these old Victorian homes in Parkersburg. And a couple of years ago, we did a trip up there. This year, we're going to carpool only because our bus doesn't drive that far. They run out of gas halfway. So we're going to carpool only. We have a sign-up sheet out on the CNE board there. So this is going to be an overnight. So if you can drive, please sign up as a driver. If you can't drive, but you want to go, you can sign up as a passenger. So there's plenty of opportunity to go there. So we're going to drive up there, and then there's a Christmas tour that evening at 6 o'clock. We'll tour not only her Victorian home, but also the other about 4 or 5 other homes on that street. They'll all be dressed up for the Christmas house tour. And then we'll spend overnight in one of the old hotels in town. It's I can't pronounce it, but it's called the Vlasserhausenhausen. It's hard to pronounce, much less spell, but it's an old German hotel. And I've stayed overnight there and it's very nice. You get a nice breakfast there as well. I think we ate breakfast there. Anyway, we're going to spend the night there. Now you have to pay for your own hotel room, but that's okay. And then the next morning, Catherine is going to give us brunch. She's going to serve us brunch in her house the next morning, and then we'll all drive back. So it's a nice overnight trip there. It takes about 4 or 5 hours, but there's no set time. You can, as long as you arrive before the house tour at 6 p.m. that night. And it's just a way of getting out of town, getting away from Kendall. You know, sometimes you just have to get out of here. You know, you gotta go away, you know, and this is in West Virginia, my God. So it's right near on the river near the Ohio border, but it's an exciting trip. I won't be going though, but I'll be in Bermuda. I'm sorry. I signed up for Bermuda a month before she even said she was going to have this trip, but we still have, it's wide open for anybody who wants to go up there for the weekend. And then we will have dining out at the bistro on the 11th. So they're going to accommodate as many as we can find, accommodate on our bus. So this will be a good opportunity for you to go spend your last meal at the bistro on Main. And that evening, that afternoon at 4 o'clock, St. John's Bible, which is a handwritten, hand manuscript Bible, which was produced by the monks at St. John's University in Minnesota. That's my alma mater. They have a traveling copy of the 8-volume St. John's Bible, and Grace Episcopal Church, they have a copy of Volume 1, which is Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Bible. And they're going to have it here at the Grace Episcopal Church, and they're going to bring the Bible here, and they're going to give a talk about the history of developing the Bible, and they're going to have it on display here. They did it here, I think, in February when they brought another volume of the Bible. So if you're interested in looking at a handmade manuscript from the old with calligraphy that was done by calligraphers from England several years ago, come and look at the Bible, and it's really interesting. So that's what we have in December. There's some other things in December, but I'm not going to bore you with all the many things we have planned for you. But please come, sign up, and sign out if you don't stay. Anyway, do you have any questions about it? Just go look on the C&E bulletin board. I had to add an extra table at the bottom there because I ran out of space. I need a bigger bulletin board to have everything there, but so I found this table back here. I don't know who owns it, but somebody says it's a piano table. So I have it. If it belongs to somebody, then you can't have it back because I need it. So anyway, thank you very much. And somebody next.
Okay. Thank you. The person who's coordinating the Staff Appreciation Fund Drive this year is not able to be here today. Can you hear me, Neil? I hate these things. So I'm filling in with giving you an update on that. We had a goal of $120,000 for this time around. As of yesterday, we had 91,100. That is 75% of the dollars, and 60% of the people who were solicited have contributed. So we're a little short. We have time. The deadline is December 1st, and we'd like to have another $29,000. So if you have not yet donated and feel that you could, it would be much appreciated. And then that will wrap up on December 5th with the Staff Appreciation Party in the dining room at 2:30. Thank you. And let's see. Everybody knows who's next.
Lee, thank you very much for serving as a buffer between Paul and me. And good morning, everyone. We have no Residents Association meeting in December, so I'm reporting on programs and presentations for December and January. The second novel in the Great American Novel Series is scheduled for Wednesday, December 10 at 4:30 p.m., of course, here in Kendall Hall. The novel is
Mark Twain's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and our presenter will be Janelle Gertz, Professor of English at Washington and Lee. Professor Gertz will help us ponder whether Twain's beloved account of a boy, a slave, and a raft should be designated the great American novel. Rob Fury's article about this novel will appear in the December issue of Connections. And the next two programs that will be starting in January will also be featured in the Connections, but the January issue. On January 7, 2026, Michael Hill will present Beloved by Toni Morrison, also here at 4:30. Professor Hill is professor and program head of Africana Studies and is director of the Delaney Center at W&L. Professor Hill tells us the following. Beloved depicts the protean project of pursuing liberty, fusing commanding storycraft, ingenious historicity, and keen human awareness. Its multi-perspectival narrative strategy clarifies essential dimensions of our nation's character, telling us in full measure much about who we are. That is why Beloved could be considered the great American novel. Following the Great American Novel series, Kendall College offers a 3-lecture look at the artistic production of Appalachia, presented by Ferrum College Professor of Sociology Emerita, Susan Virginia Meade. Many of you, of course, will remember Otis Meade from Lexington, who died recently. Susan Meade is his daughter. Her series is called An Appalachian Studies Sampler and will be presented here in Kendall Hall on January 21 and 28 and February 4. Professor Meade will show us how the verbal, musical, and visual arts born in Appalachia can teach us about the complexity, beauty, and challenges of Appalachian communities in Virginia, West Virginia, and Kentucky. You have some good programs coming to you soon. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I bet you know what I'm up here about. The craft show is just 2 short weeks away. Friday and Saturday, December 5 and 6. And we have several new vendors this year, which I'm sure you'll be glad to see. And what I'd like to do today is any of you who are vending at the craft show, just stand up so we can have an idea of how many people are going to be there. In addition to these folks, I don't think all of them were here. Several of you are also contributing things that you have made to the hands-on table, and the proceeds from that table all go toward the Staff Appreciation Fund. And we've had some very good results with that in past years. So be sure you make some time to come in and visit us Friday and Saturday, because some people are not going to be here on Friday, some people are not going to be here Saturday. So there'll be lots of things to see. And just one note, those of you who are contributing to the hands-on table, you're asking when you can bring your things in. Excuse me. We are setting up on Thursday, December 4th, and we are welcome to bring things in at any time after 3 o'clock, from 3 to 5. If you can't make that, you can bring them to my house at 328 Sunrise Ridge, and I'll see that they get down here for sale. So we're all looking forward to the sale, and thank you for everyone who's been helping with it.
I notice I'm not on the agenda here, but I'm number 9, according to my list. Back in September, I think I introduced the potential candidates for the council membership for 2026. And you had 2 months to decide whether you liked that slate of officers. And so I waited for the last 2 months, and unfortunately, I did not receive any objections to the slate of candidates. So according to our rules and regulations, which we try to follow, I'm going to introduce them one more time, and I'm asking for you to, by acclamation, since we don't vote, but by applause, loud applause, however, to accept them as the members of the 2026 Residents Council. So I would introduce you to, I would ask Bob Harrison to step forward, but he's in Europe. I don't understand. He decided to go to Europe, probably because he knew once he became president, he would have to cancel all his trips for the next 2 years. So he and Soweto are in Europe. Hopefully he'll be back in January to take over the reins. But Dennis Cropper, is Dennis Cropper here? Please come forward, please. So we do want to see you with present. So that's a good sign that he's here, that he'll probably be here in January as well. Vic Crane, of course, Vic Crane. You can spot him. He's 6'7". Yeah. And he's going to be the secretary. The treasurer is Mary Ellen Ward. Mary Ellen. I'm sorry, I forgot that A. Mary Elena Ward. So, or Mary Ward for short. Anyway, it's Mary Elena, of course. And then we have Anita James. She's going to be serving her second tour as a member at large. Jane Comstock. She's going to be another member at large. She's given up her job as the secretary and turned it over to Vic. And then we have Catherine Brown. Did Catherine Brown? She's here. She's the one who has that beautiful Victorian home in Parkersville, West Virginia. Parkersburg. I spell it correctly, but I pronounce it the wrong way. But anyway,
Leonard has it.
Whatever it's called, we're going to go. It's a neat place. Anyway, this is the membership of the Residents Council for the next year at least. Hopefully, they serve their 2 years. And so I would ask the membership here, will you accept these members as leading the Residents Council for next year? Do I have?
Two people didn't clap.
Yeah, no, those 2 people didn't clap. Please stand up there. And I know you're not clapping for Bob because he's not here. So we'll have to introduce him in January and see if you still want him to be your president. But I'm sure you will. Anyway, because if any objects to any of these people here, then you have to assume the position here. And that's why we never have any objections at all. But thank you very much for your service. And also, thank you very much. You can leave now. You want to say something about Bob?
For Bob.
Oh, did he leave some words?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Dennis, he's the acting candidate for president now, but he wants to say a few words about Bob.
Bob had asked me to ask you if you would show your appreciation to Lee for the 2 years that she served as president of this organization. And we very much.
I'm sure Lee has prepared some closing remarks with cheerful remarks. But one thing I do want to mention, it's sort of a difficult job. It's not a full-time job being on the council, especially being president. But, it's a time-consuming job. It can very well be because not only do you have to attend these meetings here, you have to prepare, you have to go to the board meetings there, and you interact with the administration, which is not always easy. But anyway, so there's a lot of work that has to be done. But I want to reminder that we still have a few of the former council president. Is Ruth Wilcox here? Please stand up. She served in 2003 and 2003 as the president of the Resident Council. We thank Ruth for her service. Mary Stratton. She served in 2012 and 2013. Winifred Hart. Winifred? Where's Winifred? Winifred? She's not here. Well, Winifred served in 2014 and 2015. Karen Russell? Karen, there's Karen. She served in 2016 and 17. Joe Scavira. Joe, stand up, Joe. 2018, 2019. Diane Herrick. Diane Herrick. 2020, 2021. Paul Cormier. 2023, 2024. Oh, 2022 and 23. And then we have Lee, and I'm going to turn the mic over to Lee for the closing remarks and for everything she learned as president, all the good things and the bad things. Well, no, there's nothing bad. It's a pleasure to serve. And of course, we invite all new members. If you're under 95, you too have an opportunity to serve on the council, especially as president. So we want to thank you, Lee, for your service.
And that's a lovely lead in to something I wanted to say. It was to tell you it has been an honor and a privilege. It has taken a lot of time, but it has been worth every minute of it. And it would have been impossible without the general support and the specific assistance that so many of you provided. So I thank you very much. Now, as a couple people have mentioned, no residents association meeting in December. We're too busy getting ready for Christmas. So we won't be back till January. Anything that needs to come up from the floor before then I think we're done. Thank you.